Hallo Leute, it is tendedtadpolebiz here, and we are back for episode 4 of Running Away, and quite a bit has changed. Now while this has changed, it really wasn't all off camera. Like stuff like the wall right behind me, that we actually did during some live streams, so if you haven't seen those, you can check those out, they're on my channel. But I want to give the basic rundown of what we have done since the last episode. So, first and foremost, at least my favorite that I've done, was the wall, and I also made this little gate. Now, the gate was in the Q&A, so if you watched that, it was kind of going around in the background of me building that. But, it's nothing too fancy. If you walk in here, it's pretty much empty. You can get up on top of the wall, and you can see both inside of our little town as well as it obviously shows the outside. It's nothing too crazy. I really love it. I just think it has a really good rustic, sort of like medieval vibe to it. I really like it. But that's the gate. It's basically just to try and keep moms out once we do have our established city. Next up, we also built a little church. I forgot to clarify here that we meant Salbert and I, so shout out to Salbert for helping me with this. It's nothing too crazy. It's actually pretty small. If I go inside, you can see it only has a couple of pews. It has a little altar and a podium to talk in. But I think it is the most, like, little quaint church house. I just absolutely love this thing. I tried putting crosses in as many places as I could, since it is a church. But I just think it's adorable. It's this tiny little thing. It's a little church. It's just a beautiful building that I think fits really good with sort of the vibe we're going for. But we built this little church. And speaking of Salbert, she also made her own house. Now, it doesn't quite fit into the exact same color palette we have for everything else. It's usually pretty dark with some stone hints to it. But I think it is absolutely wonderful. She added these little fireplaces. She really made this her own little home, and she has her little dogs there as well. Now, she actually threw in just a ton of chests. She didn't furnish it much, but she does have her little horse here, Zuko. I think it is wonderful, even though it doesn't entirely fit with what we've gone so far. But I just love the rosebush, and I just think it's amazing. So this is Salbert's house. Over here, I unsuccessfully tried to make a little nether portal. And when I say unsuccessfully, you can technically go through it, but it only goes one way. Because, as you saw in the last episode, it is a pain in the neck to get over from where we have our other nether portal to here. It's about a couple hundred blocks. I hate it so much. So I made this to try and get back. And you can go through it to get back to my house, but if you try to come through the nether to get through here, it'll take you to the original portal. So I made this little pavilion for it, and I think it looks nice, so I think I'll just leave it. But sadly, it does not work. And last but not least, I began constructing houses. Now when I say houses, I really only made the one. It's this little one. It's a unique design that I've never tried before. I don't know how much I really like it. Obviously, the inside is completely barren. But the roof is just, I don't know. I sort of had a tiered roof. As you can see, it has different layers to it. And then on the back side, this side is also protruding. So it's kind of just shifted. I don't know how much I like it. I like the color palette. I like the theme. So I'll probably just leave it. But that is the theme of what we're doing today. So I have this one house here. But this entire cove, because we have the river that meets up over here, I want to fill up with as many houses as I possibly can. Just because we haven't done much. I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, we've done a lot of things that make it to where we can establish ourselves and live here. But this area is pretty empty, and I want to start filling it with houses. So the goal for today is to build probably 5 or 6 houses, just enough houses to where, you know, this feels like it's fully fledged with as many houses as it can hold. So, yeah, that's the goal for today. So let's get started. Alright, so to start off, I think I'm going to just go through with this grass and sort of place out where I want to put things. That way I can figure out kind of where the houses are going to be. Because I know I want probably like 2 or 3 here. But, yeah. Let's place some grass blocks. This will just be sort of like the outline of where I want each of the houses to be. Alright, so I've built up onto the roof of this house so you can get kind of a look at what I did. I actually made fewer houses than I had anticipated, although I might make this one a bit bigger. So far we have a plan for one there, one there, one there, and there. And then over here we'll sort of make it like, you know, the pathway will wrap around from here, going in through here, and then sort of branch off to each of the houses. So for now, it's 4 houses, although, ooh, I might put like a small one somewhere over here. But that's sort of the goal. So let's get cracking on these houses.
A few moments later.
And that should be everything complete. Now, it's a pretty small house, admittedly. But let's be real, people don't really live in these. They're more for show. I put a little doorway in with the little lanterns there. I really like how this looks. Yeah, that is nice. It's a very just quaint little house. So that is that. That is house number 1 complete. But if we look in my inventory, you can see I don't have a lot of materials left. So that means for the first time in like years on this world, I'm going to have to go mining. So I'll catch y'all in a bit. So it is at this point I must make an admission. I did make a candid and valiant effort to try and mine all of the resources that I needed, but I got a bit carried away and I forgot to actually record certain parts of this. I mined for about half an hour and then I got sick and tired of it, so I actually went back to my original house to grab some cobblestone. I am sorry. I know I made my own rule that I wouldn't do that, but come on, I'm trying to make a video for y'all, and it took me, you know, 2 hours to make 2 houses. So I hope you understand. Let's crack on with this. And we're back. I decided to stop recording just because it was really boring, and I recorded for about an hour while I was making that house, and then I'm like, you know what, this is taking way too much space. So we finished that house, the one that I'm standing on, and the one over there. The one I'm standing on is actually the biggest of them, so let me look that way. So we made these 3 houses, and I also put in the little road connecting them. I do think I am actually going to limit it to 4 houses, just because there isn't really enough space here to put a house. I might put like a little shack or something, or like a fountain. It's not big enough to actually put anything of value, so I can't really do anything with this space right here. But so far, if we fly up... Oh, I love it. I just think it looks great. Here, let's fly up again. I mean, I think it just looks great when you're flying. See, this is kind of what I want for the entire area. And I know that's going to be a hefty project, but man, do I love this. So next up, we're going to finish up that house. And I don't know, I'll figure out something to do with this. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all see in a second, so let's just hop to that. And here we have the finished product. Now, since I kind of hurried through everything, I want to go through all of the buildings individually, but this is the one, the latest one that we added. It is kind of small. It sort of just sits on stilts, because I thought since it's right next to the water, you know, just in case there was flooding. So, it sits on stilts. It's tiny, I'll be honest. If you come in here, I mean, there's almost no space, but from the outside, I mean, it fits perfectly into the plot it was in. As for the other houses, this one right here is, again, a pretty basic one. None of them are all that different from anything I've ever built before, but it's got sort of a tiered roof, just like the rest of them. Pretty basic, big old rectangular area. Y'all know I'm terrible at furnishing things. And the biggest of them is this one. It's 2 stories. So we have the first story, and then up on the second. You will notice in none of these houses do I have a basement. That is because the ground under them is just wild. So most of them are just kind of hanging. I'll probably fill this in later, but I doubt I'll put a basement on any of these, just because I don't know that anyone is ever going to live here. And then finally the first one that we had, it's pretty small, it's pretty basic. You gotta look into it earlier, but I like it. It's probably my favorite of the couple of them that I've built, but I enjoy it. And then I said that I was going to fill this with something. I figured that a giant spruce tree would probably look good. I was expecting a really tall one. This one looks more like a Christmas tree, but I think it fits great. So let's get an aerial view of this. So this is how this whole little area looks from above. Oh, I absolutely love this. I mean, it just looks like a quaint little town. Ooh. This is beautiful. This is exactly what I had envisioned for, like, everything. Obviously, Salbert's is a little different. But this is, like, the vibe that I want to go with for everything. Oh, this is amazing. Okay. So everything across the river on this side of it is now complete. I love how this turned out. Oh, that's beautiful. So with that being said, that is pretty much everything that I wanted to get done for today's episode. I have also spent far longer than I thought I would. It's been about 8 hours since I started filming. But man, I love how this looks. But yeah, if you stuck around this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And my apologies on the long hiatus since the last episode. I've explained that before, so I'll try not to bore you with that. If you liked the video, I would appreciate a like. If you're new here, I would love it if you subscribed, because I'm going to keep working on this little area until we finish up basically everything that is within these walls. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. True Skinder.